Hello again, and welcome back to Let's Play Disgaea, Hour of Darkness, episode 13. Today we're going to be continuing with the storyline, because it's a proper episode, and we are currently working on the Stellar Graveyard. The last thing I remember from the storyline intro was Gordon, Jennifer, and Thursday in their spaceship were off on some kind of mission. They activated their hyperdrive, and somehow they've shown up in the underworld. At least, so we're made to indirectly understand, though Laharl himself hasn't personally learned that yet. Just, there's a disturbance out in the Stellar Graveyard, which, yeah, we're gonna have to go investigate. Quick updates. There was an episode 12B for a little bit, where I previewed some things I was going to do off-stream, and a quick summary of that. We did a little bit of power leveling, quote-unquote, a little bit. The technique we used for power leveling actually involved killing one strong monster with triple experience on our weapons. So that single kill actually boosted us about 24 levels. So everyone who was around 25 to 28 went up to about 47 to 50. We also did a little bit of item world stuff that's not really relevant, and we also accomplished some things in the Dark Assembly, which was essentially just passing the boots, glasses, and belt petitions to add those to the shop. What else? Let's see. Outside of that, we raised our shop level just a little bit, and we bought our ninja a new fist weapon, which is pretty overpowered. Well, relative to the rest of my team. Like, his fist has an attack of 218 compared to, you know, axes of 100. We also picked Laharl up a sword from the item world as we were going through, legendary sword. Same with Belle, she got a rare sword that's approximately the same strength. Also some staves, so, you know, a little bit of weaponry upgrade. Also, because we added glasses to the shop, we went ahead and gave our scout 2 pairs of glasses that we had access to from the shop, which significantly boosted his attack. Because, again, his attack is 100% based on his hit rating, so these are pretty ludicrous in terms of adding to his attack. And our Nekomata is pretty much a boss as usual, just generically high stats across the board. Alright, so let's get into it. I'm hoping this won't take us too long to do today. Like, I feel like we've been getting to the point where chapters are taking about an hour and a half-ish to go through, but hopefully I can trim that down a little bit, since I suspect, grossly overleveled for what we're doing. I wasn't really expecting that single kill to get us 25 levels. Buried under some rubble, I'm sure. Gordon! No! I appreciate how Thursday doesn't activate the life scanner until after she's drawn conclusions about him being alive or not. Yes, law, quote unquote. I suppose as far as is it Asimov's laws for robotics? I suppose a hot babe classifies as a person, a human being, and robots are always supposed to obey human beings, so yeah, I suppose that's true. But she's only doing it out of love. I do wonder, actually. We know what happens to humans when they die. If they weren't sinful souls, they reincarnate. If they were sinful souls, they become Prinnies. And they do, essentially, purgatory before they reincarnate. So what happens to angels and demons when they die? Ah, and here we see the level that would be easy to kill Nekomatas on, to recruit one. Bunch of level 30s. I don't think I have anything that hits an AoE that large. Let's see. General, I feel like, let's see, 1, 2, counting the number of monsters that are resistant to fire. 1, 2, 3, resistant to wind. 1, 2, 3. I guess that means there's 3 that are resistant to ice, so pretty much an even distribution. Oh yes, as a result of reaching a higher level for our Ice Mage, she's learned Omega Ice. It has fire and wind have an equally large AoE. No, that's not where I want her to stand. And you can see that the new staves we picked up do quite a lot of work. Funny how Laharl's new sword, I didn't notice this, but his new sword kind of looks like just a steel bar. And I mean, you know, a steel bar would hurt, but it feels more like a staff weapon than or a bludgeoning weapon than a sword. We'll just refresh our mana. That's super easy. So we'll just refresh our mana and move on. Off to the Thurvian sector. None here. I have no life. I'm kidding, of course. I just love scanning for life forms. You happy little life forms, where are you? I hope someone out there gets that reference. Way to imagine the worst case scenarios. Someone has an overactive imagination. Exactly! Of course, as a robot, Thursday probably thinks too much like any imagination is too much. Oh shit, run!
静かにさあおかしいなこの辺りから女の声が聞こえたのだ
I wonder if we're gonna be vulnerable to her, because she's kinda got the boobs hanging out.
どうしてこんなところに
We know he has a weakness to sexy women.
人間かしかもこいつはわかったわあなたたち魔王にさらわれたのねオーマイガー悪魔は子供相手でも容赦しないと聞いたわああかわいそうに腕は食いちぎられなかった
I wouldn't say it's... I've heard demons are merciless, even towards children. I would say, I've heard demons are merciless, even the children.
この女悪魔を何だと思ってんだけど心配しないでお姉さんが助けてあげるわやめろ
Yes, we're weak to her.
そのムチムチした
Stay away.
俺様に近づけるなと言っておるのだおお、わかったわあなた思春期なのねでも大丈夫と言ったのにそれは誰でも経験することなのオーケーお姉さんが教えてあげるわ
I'm expecting bursts of anger from Flan and Edna.
女の子は大人になっていく過程で胸が豊かになって男の子はおいよ今度はいきなり性教育始めたよ何なんだこの女は
Especially when you're looking for Gordon, right? You're worried Gordon's dead, and you're going to stop and teach the sex ed class. Priorities?
申し訳ありませんが私たち人間の子供じゃないんですどういう
Seems like the wings and like devil and angel wings ought to give it away.
この人は悪魔のエトナさんであなたが可愛いボーイと言ったこの人が魔王のラハールさんですアンビリーバボーこんな可愛いボーイが魔王だなんて信じられないわそう司令部から聞いてた話と全然違うじゃない
It's certainly true. If you showed up somewhere on a mission and the entire country was run by children and all the most prominent people were children, you kind of feel like, what is going on here? Definitely not what you'd be expecting. Wouldn't quite know how to react to that one, to be fair.
答えは司令部嘘つきまさか魔王が地球侵略を企んでいるという情報も嘘なの
Where did you hear that information?
はるばる地球から魔王を退治しに来たのに信じられない
So they're like Flood. Just everybody's out to get us. Make a name for
おい
themselves.
待てお前が魔王を退治しに来ただと
In a world full of dragon slayers, it sucks to be a dragon.
いいえ私じゃないわ魔王を倒すのは地球勇者キャプテンゴードンの役目よ
Unless you're a particularly powerful
助手
dragon.
のジェニファーと
For humans are tasty and taste good with ketchup.
サーズでピロピロピロよろしくです勇者だろ地球勇者キャプテンゴードンよでもここに着いた時にスペースシップが墜落してはぐれてしまったのよ
I'm a little curious as to how this plays out. Are we gonna help him find it? Help her find him? Save him? Or
キャプテンゴードンとやらに
maybe just find him just to beat the crap out of him and show him who the boss is?
どうしてです勇者と戦うのは
Yeah, there we
魔王
go.
の使命だからだ
A challenger appears.
なんかちょっとだけかっこいいです
女ついてこい。この勇者俺様が一緒に探してやる。
Then I will crush him before your eyes.
ただしそのムチムチした体を俺様の半径1メートル以内に近づけるな。
テレ屋さんなのね。分かったわ。行きましょう。ゴードン探しに。
Ah, more monsters. What does the green do? No entry. Interesting. So, like, I could pretty much just pick all of these up, throw them across the barrier, and then, like, nuke them from range, right? But is there any reason not to just blow them up instead? I mean, I'm pretty strong. That gem is unfortunately exactly in the wrong place. Is there any way for him to surround himself with more opponents? Yes, there is. Let's actually do this way. I'm not sure if a lion's roar will be lethal, but we'll find out. Alright. Let's do this. Musashi trying to plan the most efficient attack is probably costing more time than just doing it. So. Let's do that and see how it turns out. See what my damage output is like. Not really high enough to one-shot stuff, but decent. These are weak to fire, fire, not fire, not fire. Which I think means we do something a little bit like this. And then we can do something like that. I'm really just trying to do the largest AoEs I have to as many people as possible. Except I do want to practice my Omega Ice abilities, so try to get that up to be a larger area of effect. What else? Etna. Oh, Chaos Impact is a new ability. Wow, that's an interesting area of effect. Can I use it though? One square away from me in every direction. That would have been good to use over near where Musashi is, but you can't get that far, and it doesn't look like there's any other really good place to use that. That's also a very awkward area of effect. Wow, I'm so confused. 2 gaps in between. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's no configuration of that will fit over here. And, well... maybe I'm wrong. See, they're directly diagonal from each other, and I don't think there are any squares in this configuration that are directly diagonal to each other. I mean, only one at a time, right? And that's not far enough. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So she'll just do a Colossal Fissure on somebody. My axes, I believe, are my weakest weapons right now, so they do need a little bit of upgrading before they're capable of one-shotting. And I think Blade Rush goes up 12, so can she hit these two? 6 to 17? Yes, she can. Axel hops on out and does a Colossal Fissure. Might as well just actually have him kill somebody. And then Kasumi has a little bit of area of effect she can do. There's no great targets for it, so I'll skip over her turn. And then our Scout... anyone weak to fire? Yes.
I'll finish this.
Yes, you will. She's gone. Yeah, our marksman does a lot of damage with all of those glasses. He effectively has an attack of 1200 compared to everybody else's of like 800, so he's at least 50% stronger than most of the rest of our team. Ellie might be dead here. Close. Yeah, she is. She can't catch 3 Mystic Blasts, unfortunately. Now there's essentially an insignificant number of enemies over there, so we just have to focus on these. Weak to ice, weak to wind, weak to ice. She doesn't, unfortunately, have an ice spell that hits that effect. So I guess we'll use... wind? Yeah, wind.
I won't hold back.
This is a straight line. Might as well try this ability and see what it does. Just attack there. Boom! Not actually that much damage.
Here I come.
Feels a little bit like Fortnite. Ride a missile. Damage is pretty good, though.
Safe.
Let me show you how a real Mystic Blast is done. Oh, there's somebody else still alive. I think our ninja can get that far. Not quite. I take it back. We do it this way. Bonk. Not too hard. A little bit awkward AoE, but that's about it. Not really under any threat of losing, so I'm not gonna worry about saving. And off to Sphere 8. Would that be Neptune? I forget if Uranus or Neptune is closer. Dude, you're alive. Like, you gotta count your luck. Oh yeah, I had companions. Crap. Apparently Jennifer isn't the only one with an overactive imagination. It's a lot of horsepower. Armed with the power of 200,000 horses. Watch out for the kick attacks. Let's see what's going on here. Attack plus 50, defense plus 50. So basically, take the red tiles and kick ass. Just a long linear map. Sort of awkward. But let me think. Is it this? That works pretty well. Let's see how it goes. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Would actually be better if she did this. Because now she'll hit the back 4 instead of the front 4, and she'll do it with plus attack. I'm hoping that whatever this attack is based on her attack.
Call me Queen.
Pretty weak. I'm having to guess that's probably based on her intelligence. But everybody appears to be confused. Could be handy. It's a status inflictor. Just setting up all of our line AoEs. We'll see what's left standing after this. Yeah, I feel a little bit bad. Like I said, I really did not mean to outlevel the campaign as much as I did. I think it takes away from the enjoyment of the game just a little bit when there's not really any challenge involved. We should have Flan practice Omega Ice. Oh, she can't yet. Kasumi has to learn it before Flan can learn it, so we'll do that. So I was doing some reading and actually hearing that a lot of people think that Terra spells, so like Terra Ice, Terra Fire, etc., aren't actually worth it. Firstly, because they have really long animation times. That is something I'm noticing is you have longer animation times on the higher level spells. but also because for the extra mana that you spend, you don't really do that much more damage. And that's kind of unfortunate, actually. I mean, I still want to get them. I still want to have the option of them, but it does sort of suck that there's... Oh, let's not put him here. Let's put him here. It does sort of suck that there's not... It's not something you definitely want to get all of the time or use all of the time. One thing... It's interesting thinking about, like, quality of life in games like this, right? Where if you play it a really long time, you probably get bored of watching the same animations over and over and over and over. Especially once your weapon skills are maxed out and you're like there's no new abilities, right? It's interesting discovering new abilities, watching new animations, etc., etc., etc. But after a while, it really is just gonna get boring, and feels like there ought to be an option to do like quick animations or skip animations or something like that. Talking about a little more real-time strategy, but like Ogre Battle for the Super Nintendo and later for the PlayStation. Ogre Battle Episode 5, March of the Black Queen. Same deal. The animations were pretty short and simple, and as a result, for some... I don't know why they thought of it, but they opted to have a non-animations mode, where you just say, hey, no animations, and it basically just shows the character, tells you the name of their attack, and then applies the damage. And it lets you zip through the game a little bit faster, which obviously is nice. You know, by the... What is there, like 28 missions in that game or something? And by, like, you know, the 12th or so, you start to realize that a lot of the game is just watching animations. Like watching battles resolve while animations play out, and it's really boring. So eventually you get tired of it, and you're just like, yeah, I should just turn off animations and go to it. I just noticed, this guy has 1,400 health. I mean, obviously that's not that big of a deal for me, but it's a lot. Weak to win.
Finish this. Be gone.
Excuse me. Really surprised that didn't do more damage. I don't know if any of you out there are Hearthstone players, but I'm looking at this this sword, the two-pronged blade. Reminds me of the Sword of Justice that Paladins use. Which does mean, I guess, that should be a weak weapon, right? Sword of Justice is 5 durability, 1 attack. Makes other stuff stronger. Wow, all of these guys have like 1,500 health. So they're sort of like mini-bosses, I guess. They have a ton of health, but no defenses to speak of. Although, again, I guess I am like 20 levels higher than these guys. 15, 20, somewhere in there. Wow, he actually killed someone. Let's see what Chaos Impact does. There's an okay area of effect for it.
Go! Drop dead.
A little bit like Meteor Impact. I suppose the send up is right there in the name, Chaos Impact and Meteor Impact. But I'm pretty sure I'll just take a Colossal Fissure over an area of effect. Let's do this. Oh, can't do that anymore.
I'll finish this. Be gone.
Pretty good damage. You know, having learned what I did about facing in this game and how which side of the opponent you're on affects how much damage you do, now it's suddenly giving me a whole bunch of questions. Because, like, when I killed this guy, he originally was facing this way, away from our Kit Kat. But when I used Tiger Charge, it faced him towards my ninja. So, like, is that just an animation thing and it calculates the damage as you're striking from the side? Or does it actually force the opponent to turn to face you before doing that? But I don't know how I would test that. I mean, it would be time-consuming and pretty awkward, actually. So, the world may never know. I think we're doing okay for time. I think we're about 30 minutes in, and we're on the fourth battle. I feel like we're getting close to the end of the chapter. Harley? Maybe someday, but not today. You know, guys gotta have ambitions, but one step at a time. Yes, exactly. You know the one.
何の価値があるというのだ。
その通りかもしれないわね。けど私たちにとってはかけがえのない故郷なの。だからゴーデンも私も地球のために命を懸けてきた。それが正しいことだと。
I wonder if people actually get that attached to their homes. I mean, there's something to be said for a familiar place and everything you've ever known. But at the same time, what if home sucks, right? Like, I knew someone at one point who lived in Syria before the huge... I don't even know what the word is. The huge foobar going on over there. All the civil war and whatnot. And it's like, eventually she left, but I mean, her hometown was rubble by the time she left. And it's like, it must be sad to see that happening. But at the same time, once it's rubble, is there anything worth sticking around for? You know? It's a lot of different shows and stories all touch on this, where it's like, what does home mean? What do you fight for? Right? Like, isn't home with your loved ones? Like, if the Earth was dying, you know, as we progress towards the eventual heat death of the universe, or at the very least, the heat death of our solar system, in billions or trillions of years, or however long it is. I suppose it's billions, because stars have formed and died in the last 6 billion years. So, yeah, it must be on the billions of years timeline. But, you know, as we approach the period where Earth becomes uninhabitable because the sun is dying, how attached will we be to it? I mean, it'll be sad, but at the same time, if it's consumed by the sun and just liquid rock, or just free-flowing atoms and plasma, hard to be sad about it. I guess there's all sorts of philosophy there that goes into, like, death and loss and whatnot, so I'm probably simplifying it too much.
なぜ俺様の言葉が嘘だとは思わぬのか。俺様は
嘘をついているかどうかなんて わかるものよ。
Not about pure, but certainly earnest.
ラハールちゃんの瞳はまっすぐ前を見てる。
Straightforward.
バカバカしい。
今あの人の瞳はまっすぐ前を見ているのかしら。
Is she worried about
いず
Gordon?
れにしても早くゴードンと合流して真相を究明しないと大変なことになってしまうかもしれないわ。賛成です。このままでは魔界と人間界を巻き込む大戦争に発展しかねません。それだけは何としても阻止しないと。別にいいじゃん。その方が面白そうだし。エトナさん。はいはい、ごめんなさい。やだね、真面目な人たちね。
This is a little bit one of my problems with, I'm gonna say indirect information, right? Like, I wonder about assassination. I'm so confused. There's all these green tiles. What's this do? Silence. I mean, I guess these are all mages. So that would be pretty brutal. But at the same time, because they're mages, they're very spread out. Pretty sure I can just massacre them. But yeah, talking about indirect information, right? It's like, imagine getting sent on an assassination mission, and you successfully carry it out, and at the end you find out that your commanding officer, or whoever ordered you, had the wrong info, and the person wasn't a threat whatsoever. It's just like, oh, you randomly killed someone completely unnecessarily. But at the same time, it is difficult to know. Let me think. Let me plan this out a little bit first. At the same time, you can't know. Do I actually? Fine, I'll do the throw stack just because it's silly. Line should go down this way. So like Laharl, Etna. At the same time, often, if you wait until you know before you act, then it can be too late, and that's problematic as well. Silence! Silence! Gotta get that Professor Dumbledore effect going on there. I need a little bit of a deeper voice if I'm gonna try and do that. I'll have to practice a little bit. Can't touch this. Now we're just gonna go counterattack crazy. So many attacks. And I should move out Seal, just because... actually, she should move... Okay, Laharl should move over here to kill somebody with an auto. And then Seal will kill this guy off on her way over. And we'll bring Timo out to gun people down. Pew! Bonk. I didn't even realize it. Laharl actually has a higher attack rating than our monster does. Lower defense, though? But I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, compare their stats. He's got 1,328 health. He has a little bit more health, more attack, less defense, significantly less speed. But he's like 1 or 2 levels up, and he's using legendary gear with tons of stat boosters, whereas she's just using... I guess she does have the feather token. That's pretty good. Maybe she needs a stronger weapon is what's going on. But anyway, she's at the very least competitive, which is good, and as it should be. Who else have we got that can attack?
I'll finish this.
Yeah!
Gotta get those counterattacks going on. You know, speaking of counters, I was just thinking I should probably try and raise my folks' counterattack rate pretty soon. You can do that in the Dark Assembly. But something I had noticed is that, at least I think I noticed, I feel like there's a relationship between what level you are and the level the senators are that you're talking to during any particular petition, and how much they like it, right? So it's like, if I'm level 65 and I call a room full of level 20 senators, that they're more likely to do what I want them to do because of that level disparity. At least so it seems. I could be mistaken, but it could also be my... I have been doing some bribing of the senators, so it might be that actually starting to pay off. So, I'm not really certain, but, I mean, that's why we got the glasses and belt and boots passed, I think, is like, I called the assembly to pass those things, and it was relatively trivial, actually. At this point, I'm actually having a harder time increasing the shop rank. Like, it's up to level 7. It costs 130 mana now to try and pass the bill, which means... And I guess I didn't say this, but the, when you try and pass a bill, you have to have more yays than nays equal to the cost of the bill. So the more expensive the bill is, the more difficult it is to pass. And as a result, if you have something that costs like 500 mana to try and pass, not only do you have to call an assembly of over 500, but let's say you called an assembly with an influence of 550, you'd only be able to have 25 of those votes say nay, so that you could get 525 that say yay, and therefore pass the bill with a 525 to 25, which is that 500 gap. So yeah, the more expensive stuff gets, not only you have to call a higher level assembly in order to pass it, and that also means a higher onus of passing it as well. It's like a double whammy, basically. That's quite the outfit she has, I guess, if you could call it that. Well, we are in hell, so yeah, I suppose so. That was kind of the idea. That was your mission, to go through hell. Pose! Easily impressed.
様が魔王ラハールだ。
Now here's the question. Knowing that we're a child, is Gordon going to carry out his mission?
ジョークはよしてくれたまえ。君はどう見たってまだ毛も生え揃ってない。
No, but I'll electrocute you.
魔王め、不意打ちとは卑怯千万。
なかなか物分かりの良いやつだな。
貴様が抱く地球侵略の野望はこの地球勇者キャプテンゴードンがまず打ち砕いている。
Sure, make assumptions. Don't check your facts. Be an asshole as usual.
黙れ、悪党。
It's like, of everything. Well, okay, maybe not everything, but it's one of the most irritating things to me about people, is people that don't check their facts, right?
ラハールさん、こんな失礼な人、勇者でも正義のヒーローでもありません。さっさとやっつけちゃいましょう。
Especially when it comes to communication, right? It's like if someone says something, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but if they say something like, I don't really feel like doing that. You could interpret that, and people will interpret that, as a range from, no, leave me the fuck alone, to suggest something else, to something more positive, like, there's something I'd much rather do, let me tell you about it, right? And it's like the range of interpretation on that is so wide that it's sort of important to turn to the person and be like, what does that mean exactly?
おい、勇者。
You gotta check your facts, figure out what people are actually saying.
地球侵略はしないと約束しよう。だが、俺様が勝って破壊に残り、俺様の家来になる。
You will save yourself a lot of trouble in your life if you try to avoid miscommunications before they happen. You hate to get to the other side and be like, oh, I thought you meant this thing. And they're like, no, I meant that other thing. And then everybody feels stupid. And you're like, oh, we've been arguing for the last 3 hours over... because we thought you meant something different. Ha 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 ha. How awkward.
よかろう。勇者は決して敵に背中を見せぬもの。
どうぞ。
いらないさ、ジェニファー。この程度のピンチは朝飯前。私とサーズデイだけで十分だ。君はそこでいつものように地球勇者キャプテンゴードンの勝利を確信していてくれたまえ。
Let's do it. You and me.
そう、勇者。
I would say mono a mono, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be a 1 versus 10.
地球の平和は私が守る。サーズデイ、援護を頼む。
ピロピロピロ、任務了解。
Maybe 1 versus 3? Or 10 versus 3? Is Jennifer going to be on our side? Against us? 10 versus 2. I think the super robot's supposed to be tough, but just kind of isn't. Gun user. Weak to nothing. Weak to nothing. Sure. We'll just hang seal out, bait some people in, set up some area of effects. Why would you step next to me to use your gun? You're just asking to get countered. It's a 4-line AoE, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually. Well, let's do this. Seal goes here. Axel. Edna. Can't quite move far enough. Let's have Lon just toss Edna a little ways so that Etna can get into striking range on this. Harl will go here. Bell will need to do a Hurricane Slash. Musashi. Like this. And Teemo. No weaknesses, but we can Ice Shot him. Okay, so we're gonna do a nice little combo here. Colossal Fissure. I hope it lasts. Into Colossal Fissure. Into Tiger Charge. Into Meteor Impact, which will bridge the gap between these two. And let me continue the combo onto Gordon. Let's see if this finishes them both off.
I'll finish this. Be gone.
I probably don't have the damage to kill Thursday with this combo. Yeah.
Here I come.
Here comes the meteor. So close. Alright, we just have to go ahead and kill Thursday then, and we have somebody who can do that really easily. So would this be considered an OTK, one turn kill? I guess not really, because it was on the second turn, right? Excuse me. Great! Now you are our vassal! Ha 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 ha! Ain't that the truth? Blonde forgot! It doesn't work that way in real life.
じゃねえだろ、ついじゃ。クロンちゃん、最近かな悪魔サイドに染まってきてるんじゃないの？そんなこと。でも、これが大天使様に知れたら。
大天使様、大天使ラビントン様はおわすか。一大事にございまする。
Sounds like that, you know, Vulcanus always has that, like, ah! sort of tone in his voice. It's like, that must stress out your throat living your entire life with that tone.
クロンめが魔界にて人間を殺害したのでございます。
Like, it just feels, like, even just listening to it makes my neck hurt. The muscles in my neck.
クロン人間を殺した。さようでございます。 ないとはいえ、天使たる者は人間に手をかけるとは許しがたき所業。このようなこと、神が許されるでしょうか。いやいや、許されるはずがありません。それにしてもおかしいね。どうして？それはとにかく。
Perhaps Vulcanus has something to do with it? Was that Vulcanus' plan this entire game, was to use the humans to invade the Netherworld?
わかった。お前に任せる。ブルバリ。人間が介入することになろうか。さて、彼はどう動くつもりか。
大丈夫です。大天使様なら全て誤解だということを分かってくださいます。きっと
Suddenly it occurs, if you can use your hyperdrive to get to the netherworld, and if Prinnies are reincarnations of sinful humans, doesn't that mean it's actually, or like humans in purgatory, and they have knowledge of their past lives, doesn't that mean that humanity now has the technology to go visit dead people, but only so long as they've so long as they're sinful souls? Suddenly that seems like a perk. I'll visit you in the afterlife, but only if you're horrible during your living life. You know, a liar and a thief. Yay! Next episode, what crazy shenanigans will Etna get up to this time? We've already seen the space cooking contest.
地球勇者という新たな仲間が加わりスペースワールド編が幕を。
ああ、諸君、みんなのヒーロー、キャプテン・ゴードンだ。
Aha! Gordon is co-opting the intermission.
私は太陽系第三惑星地球を守る37代目の地球勇者だ。
この先どんな
たとえどんな困難が待ち受けていようとも地球勇者の名にかけて、そしてこのキャプテン・ゴードンの
This guy's kind of an asshole. He just keeps interrupting, right? Like, dude, shut your trap and let her talk.
私の使命なのだから。次回地球勇者キャプテン・ゴードン第10話、天使と悪魔と人間と私の活躍を楽しみに待っていてくれたまえ。
Nobody cares, Gordon. Exactly! Good job, Etna. Don't take no shit from anybody.
Gordon, 俺様のパンツを洗濯しよう。
Excuse me.
Gordon, 洗濯が終わったら次は掃除だ。
Ah, it's nice to be the king.
Gordon, 掃除が終わったら昼食の用意をしろ。
Now that I would say you probably want to make sure he knows how to cook first. Yeah, you'd probably be less stressed out doing all this work if you took off the rocket pack. I feel like they'd probably, probably slows you down a little bit.
なんだかとっても不満そうだな。まさか勇者が約束を破るつもりではあるまいな。
どんなことがあっても勇者が約束を破るわけにはいかん。今私にできること、それは耐えしろのことだ。ハートに揺るがぬ信念を秘めていればいつか必ず道は開けるもの。そうだ、こいつに従うふりをして油断させよう。そして月を見て地球に脱出するのだ。
It's not a very honorable thing to do.
よーし、それまでの辛抱だ。負けるな、ゴードン。
その希望に満ちた輝く人、お前よこしまなことを企んでるだろう。
He's seen through me!
仕事はなんだ。
おはようラハルちゃん。
俺様をちゃん付けで呼ぶなと言ったであろう。
あら、だってその方が可愛いじゃない。それより
It's interesting, translation choices, right? Because what she's actually calling him in Japanese is Laharl-chan. And the chan is, probably almost everybody out there knows this, but it's a suffix that denotes sort of, it adds flavor to the name you're calling somebody by. So like, san is professional and polite, chan is a little bit more like cutie, if that makes sense. Like you'd call little kids chan, you'd call your significant other chan, etc, etc, etc. So for her to call him Laharl-chan is kind of a diminutive, since he's a demon. You know, he's like, don't call me, essentially as a demon he's saying, don't call me cute. But it's funny how the translators take Laharl-chan and turn it into, essentially she's calling kind of turning it into like a cutie nickname, and then they choose as a quote-unquote cutie nickname Harley, right? It's like, if I hear, what would I, if I was trying to come up with a cutesy nickname for Maharal? Harley? I don't know. I might have to think about that one. I guess I probably don't have any better suggestions.
ラハルちゃんも一緒にどうよ。みんなでおいしいお弁当作ったのよ。
Still,
ピクニックだって。
feels like a weird. It feels like a weird choice. Is all I'm saying. I don't know what you could do instead, but it feels weird, a little bit weird to me.
でもゴーゴン、今日は日曜日だ
Hey,
から。
she didn't commit herself to a fight she couldn't win with your freedom and servitude on the line.
それはそうだが。さあせ、お前は私
I'm sorry you have to live with the consequences of your actions. And nobody else does.
休み行くよ。サーツ店、ジェニファーたちとピクニック行ってきます。
あ、この裏切り者。
じゃあ、そういうこと。
Nah, Thursday has to go out and help protect Jennifer. You know, from infernal ants and other things.
ねえ、どこに行こうか。せっかく魔界に来たんだから、ゲームの海がいいんじゃないですか。
Where have I heard that name before? Gehenna?
ゲームの海ってどんなところなの？それはもうザ・魔界って感じのおすすめスポットですよ。
I'm gonna look that up now.
そこ、お土産売ってる？
Quick Google search.
いや、さすがにお土産は売ってないかと。お土産ならいけねえ横から
Ah,
あるマミー
in
ハウス
rabbinic literature and Christian and Islamic scripture, Gehenna is a destination of the wicked. So, yeah, it's some place that would be in the netherworld.
いいなそれ。あげないよーだ。じゃあ、今日はゲームの海でピクニックして、明日はいけねえ横丁でショッピングしましょう。いいね。
Excuse me.
お前がどうしようもなく哀れに思えてきたぞ。よし、俺様たちもゲヘナの海へ行くぞ。女どもだけピクニックでランランなどと、もう俺様が絶対に許さん。
Overprotective much?
おお、それはグッドアイディアだ。我々も同行しよう。
No, you stay here and do the chores.
決してピクニックでランランしたいわけではないぞ。彼女たちを護衛するためだ。
行くぞ。
Wait, what? You're letting him out of the chores?
ピクニックに乗じて彼らを油断させ、魔界から脱出するのだ。
Angels, demons, humans,
第10話
and picnics,
天使と
hypothetically.
悪魔と人間と。
And before we call it a day, let's go check in with Etna's diary and see how she's feeling about everything that's been going on. I feel like it's been a little bit since we've done that, but I also feel like I say that every single time. So let's see, this was Hatred for the Queen, and this was Pretty episode where she falls out about... Yeah, this is Pretty episode where she decides she doesn't hate the Queen anymore. Oh, really? I'm gonna guess he died of grief after his wife died. Ah. Oh yeah, there's that demon we fought in that one chapter, the giant flaming guy who split himself up. But not important enough to remember, apparently. Kinda got that rememberal problem going on, right? It tells you when you've forgotten something. Yeah, I just don't know what it is that I've forgotten. Everybody's healed up. And that will do it for us today. Nothing much to do. I mean, basically nothing to do before we hop right into Chapter 10, Angels, Demons, and Humans. So join me next time for Episode 14, Chapter 10, where we attempt to go on a picnic, but I'm imagining things are going to get a little bit more interesting than that. Until then, take care of yourselves.